it's academic and it's theater, the place where they both meet.
You have to be audience and participant for each other.
Intellectual practices, historical practices, cultural practices. Everyone? Everybody, please.
Examples of women
sharing what it is that you do, sharing how you do that.
There's no way you can ignore Latinos anymore.
Work from all around the world you can come and see and talk about.
It starts out a little thing, you write it there. You have to be completely open.
Theater for everybody, yes, everybody.
That's just what should be done.
And indeed, my understanding of life, relationships, death, has already changed.
The survival of theater as an art form depends on that.
But there's room for it all. There's room for it all.
Welcome, everybody, here to the Martin E. Siegel Theater Center at the Graduate Center CUNY. My name is Frank Henschke, and I'm the director of the Siegel Center, and it's a wonderful and special evening for us. Tonight, we are honoring Adelheid Roosen, the 2017 League of Professional Theater Women's Gilder Coigney International Theater Award winner. The Siegel Center bridges academia and professional theater, international and American theater, and we cannot think of a better honoree, and I think it's a great honor for us to be associated actually for the third time with this award, and we also have been part of the very beginning, so thank you for our collaboration. I would also like to thank Melody Brooks and Katrin Hilbe for being the co-chairs. Rebecca Shane for producing, and everybody involved, all the volunteers and the Siegel team especially for making this happen. The evening shouldn't last longer than 8:30, 8:45. If you have a cell phone, just take one moment and I'll do the same. See if it's off. Ring or silent, it should say. And again, thank you all for coming. I know how busy you all are and how much you all come and work, but it's a great honor, you know, to have Adelheid with us, and for you taking the time. Again, thank you so much for coming here. And I now hand over the mic to the co-presidents of the League of Professional Theater Women, Kelly Lynn Harrison and Lisa Roth. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome this evening, and thank you, Frank, for that introduction. So good evening and welcome to the 2017 League of Professional Theater Women's Rosamund Gilder and Martha Coigney International Theater Award. I'm Lisa Rothy, this is Kelly Lynn Harrison, and we are the co-presidents of the League of Professional Theater Women, or LPTW, as we like to call it. It's just a little shorter. First, we would really like to vociferously thank Frank Henschke, the executive director. Let's give him a hand. We are thrilled to continue our partnership with Frank and the center, the Martin E. Siegel Theater Center. And as he said, we've partnered with the League and the International Award since the beginning of this award in 2011, and are now hosting this very special program for the third time. So thank you again, and to everyone here at the Martin Siegel Theater Center, we can't thank you enough.
We would also like to thank all of the representatives from the consulates and the cultural centers who have helped us so much through this process and are attending this evening's ceremony, who made it possible for many of our award nominees to be here this week to celebrate. We thank you so much for supporting the women who are making a difference in your countries and around the world. We honor you here tonight as well. And finally, we would also like to give a huge thank you to two women who have really done an extraordinary job on behalf of the League this year and for this award. The co-chairs of the Gilder Coigney International Theater Award, Melody Brooks and Katrin Hill. We would... This award embodies everything that we like to advance for the League, and so this is a very important night for us, and we thank you. We would also like to give a huge shout out to all of the members of the International Committee, those who are here and those who aren't able to make it, for their continued stellar work on behalf of this award and introducing us to international affiliate members to the League.
So some of you might be wondering, what does the LPTW do? So we're going to tell you just a little bit. We're going to keep it short. We are an advocacy organization with a mission to reinforce the positive image and promote the visibility of women in the professional theater. For 35 years, the LPTW has been at the center of the discussion of gender parity in the theater, and this season we're looking really forward to taking charge and leading that conversation. LPTW began as a networking and support organization for women in the theater and continues to provide this important camaraderie, while we also continue to support and promote our mission that the League of Professional Theater Women champions women in theater.
We are a membership organization that includes artists and practitioners of theater of all backgrounds across multiple disciplines, working in the commercial and nonprofit sectors. We advocate for opportunities and visibility for female theater professionals. The LPTW connects members with colleagues in artist service groups and performing arts organizations in the US and around the globe, supporting dialogue, mentoring, and collaboration.
We spearhead vibrant public programming, advocacy projects, and transformational initiatives that create community, cultivate leadership and professional development, and raise awareness of the importance of nurturing women's voices. We need this now. We need this a lot right now, right? This is a really good time. Our events, media, and publications celebrate industry luminaries, preserve the legacy of historic visionaries, and shine a spotlight on the importance of striving for gender parity and of fostering a diversity of expression both in the theater world and in the world at large. So please, you can, is that good? Can we applaud that? All right. So please visit theaterwomen.org, that's theater with an R-E, to learn more about our dynamic organization, to find out how to either become a member or how to support our mission by becoming a friend of the LPTW. Or you can corner us after later on tonight at the event, at the after party, to ask us more questions or to engage with us is how you can get involved.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and now we turn you over to Melody and Katrin. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you, Frank and Lisa and Kelly Lynn, for us being doubly thanked tonight. I'm Melody Brooks, and as you know, I'm one of the co-chairs of the Gilder Coigney International Theater Award for 2017. This is the third time this award has been given, the first in 2011, the second in 2014. And each time the award has been given, we have added new elements that recognize and acknowledge the growth and evolution of the award, especially in highlighting not only the particular achievement of the winner, our amazing Adelheid Roosen, but also the incredible work that the other nominees are doing. So now we have an award week, which we like to call it, this year culminating in the award ceremony. And we want, in 2020, the next time the award is given, to continue to grow, expand our reach and visibility. So Katrin and I started on this journey 2 years ago, in January of 2016. And we sat down and said, so how do we want to do this time? It's one of the nice things about the award is the flexibility. And one of the changes we made was to have an open call for nominations. Prior to that time, nominees had to come from league members. And although people were recommended to league members, it was a bit of a cumbersome process. So by opening that up, we did get a lot more connection to consulates and cultural organizations. And we're looking forward to even more. So when you leave here tonight, think who you can nominate for 2020. And we received 19 nominations from 15 countries, and we had a thorough review process by members of the International Committee. We selected 6 finalists from our evaluation process, and that looked at 5 criteria for the award. One is artistic excellence. Obviously, we want people who are making great theater, and all of these women are. We were interested this year in particularly the exploration of new forms of theatrical expression. We wanted to know that the nominees' work was recognized at home and abroad, that it had a demonstrated commitment to the support of women in their theatrical practice, so either through topics that addressed women's issues, using women in the creation of their art, that they had a body of work that we as US theater artists could look at, learn from, and be inspired by. And finally, because we are small, and we can only do this every 3 years, we wanted to know that this award was going to make a difference, that they could actually leverage this award to get greater recognition and more opportunities in their career. So that's what we were looking at when we went through this process.
And I'm Katrine Hilbe. I'm the second co-chair of this award. And once our finalists were selected, we gathered the evaluation team for an extended dinner to determine who would receive the award in 2017. It was not an easy choice, as all of the nominees are doing significant and important work. While all of the finalists excelled in the 5 criteria, our choice was Adelheid Roosen, Dutch theater artist and filmmaker, whose adoption technique has won her a place in the pantheon of theater artists who have moved the needle of creative expression forward. Adelheid's work is all about taking what's not seen, foreign, taboo, or even just intensely privately personal out into the public domain. She's not objective and doesn't claim to be. Her pieces are offerings from her world to ours, to be seen, discussed, and she challenges us to meet us at the same place of honest curiosity that she extends to the world. We do have a full program for you this evening, and we would very much like to start by introducing you to all of the 19 nominees.
My name is Natalia Kolyada. I'm co-founding artistic director of Belarus Free Theatre. And we're performing in Edinburgh with our performance Trash Cuisine at Pleasance Grant. It's a very beautiful performance, even though that the topic is very complicated. We collected stories all over the world, went to the worst prisons of the world, met with death row inmates, with former executioners, with families of those people who were executed, and the whole performance was devised based on old stories. It's a historical event for Belarus, and we try to show to dictatorship that they can't stop freedom of expression by just announcing that this is dictatorship and they want to stay in power. So for the first time in history of Belarus, we will be live streaming the performance from Pleasance Grant to Belarus. And people in Belarus will see this performance live, first time in their life.
Do you give yourself over to the church militant?
Yes.
You say God has ordered you to wear men's clothing?
Yes.
So why do you want to wear women's dress for your death?
I was born on the night of the Epiphany, January 6th, 1412. They say on that night, the cocks in the countryside crowed with unusual persistence, and the villagers experienced an inexplicable sensation of great joy.
France will be saved by a virgin.
To have a voice is also not literally to be able to speak or to sing. To have a voice is to have your place in the world and to be able to find your place in the world.
like my town, with a little drop of poison. Nobody knows, they're lining up to go insane. I'm all alone, I smoke my friends down to the filter, but I feel much cleaner after it rains. And she left in the fall, that's a picture on the wall. She always had that little drop of poison.
I told them to give him a small injection, then I went back to my office. They called me. They said the patient is lying on the floor, his physical condition is uncertain. I didn't hear from them for another hour and 18 minutes.
The muscles here contract, trying to protect the gland. There it is, pancreas. People who don't know what it is think that they're having a heart attack.
Drina Frederick, I'm a theatre director. I believe that this is the ultimate way to change society. I think this is the ultimate way to give people hope, to send a message. And for me, the work is really about affirming my cultural identity.
The spirit walks beside me, a force I can't explain.
This woman's journey through the diaspora, identifying who she is, understanding that, taking elements of St. Lucian culture, the masquerade, and making that into a spectacle, making that into something where people can relate to and understand.
The memories making music inside of me.
Now is the time to build a Roma army. Esto es una revolución.
Die Roma-Revolution ist der Kampf der Nicht-Weißen dieser Erde gegen ihre Unterdrücker. Wie kannst du nicht gewalttätig sein, wenn deine eigenen Leute versklavt, ermordet und sterilisiert wurden und immer noch in Brand gesteckt, deportiert, erniedrigt, unterdrückt und diskriminiert werden?
This year's Women in War Festival takes place in a beautiful old theatre in Streatham from July the 3rd to the 30th. We're hosting women from all over the world, sharing the stories of their lives, the effect that war has had on them, what it is to have to leave your home, your family and everything you know and come to another country and rebuild your life. And whilst we want to tell you their stories, we also want to celebrate the courage and ingenuity of these women and the extraordinary richness of the culture that they bring with them and share with us.
خيبة ولا مبارك كده على حد والأبعد يبقى بتنجان بالنار تكويه ولا تسأل فيه بالنار تكويه ولا تسأل فيه ومدام لين وياها ولا تجرح بالحمشات بصراحة الحق معاها يا جناب الجنتلمان لو كنت حريق وتقلع فعنيها ما كنت تولع والنور ولع وانت مولع وحبيبك من شوق ولع
I'm not someone who's going to change the world as a director by bringing in brilliant new form. I appreciate people who can do that and I'll promote them as an artistic director, but always my trajectory has been that I'm more interested in taking an established form and subverting it.
to get them now. Si la nieve es blanca, la enfermedad es fría. Si la nieve es colorada, la enfermedad es caliente. Los Juanes de San Mateo del Mar, Oaxaca, llenos del Sinamienta, es blanco colorada. Poca popó, poca popó, poca caca, poca caca.
Indigno, cobarde e infame rebajarse así hasta traicionar la propia alma.
Que Dios me guarde de darle semejante ocasión.
Cuando un hombre viene a abrazarte con gusto, es preciso pagarle con la misma moneda. A ver, ¿qué valor hay en que un hombre te halague, te jure amistad y afecto si corre a hacer lo mismo con el primer pelele que se encuentra? No, y estimar a todo el mundo equivale a no estimar a nadie.
Me gusta la gente que no teme decir lo que piensa.
Esta especie de enfermedad que tienes solo provocará la ira o la risa donde quiera que vayas.
E io non mio e passato del stage.
Solo corazón.
Ni Brenda.
No!
And I'm holding on to it. Winter's coming soon, boys.
انت مرتبطة؟
لمي شوية التعليق اللي هنا وروحوا العبوا بعيد. عاوزين نرش مية.
خد فشار.
جبتوا منين؟
ايه يا بنتي ما هو مكتوب على السلسلة وحوالينا الناس بتقول بالأحسن كده.
انت عايز تفوت قلة أدبك. انت ازاي تبص هنا أصلا؟
طب ما انت اللي لابساها هنا.
بابا! مفيش كنز راجل هيعدي المكان ده.
ايه يا ليلى انت بتعرفي المستقبل ولا ايه؟
أنا؟ لا يا بابا خالص خالص. أنا بس استغربت من الجملة اللي في إيده دي. يا لهوي.
Herzlich willkommen zu William Shakespeares Geburtstag. Heute wird er 450 Jahre alt. Das sind viele Kerzen.
Happy birthday, Mr. Shakespeare.
Nimm deinen Schiffern noch mal an. Raus mit der Feder, schreib ne Frau doch mal, als wäre sie mein Mann. Nicht als Männerpaar, bloß
IETM informal European theatre meeting, one of the first international cultural networks in Europe, divided Europe. For the founders, based on both sides of the wall, enhancing mobility between East and West is one of their targets. Solidarity is one of their core values. ITM has grown into the International Network for the Contemporary Performing Arts, as it is known now. Main objective for the participants to connect, to start a trans-border relation, to end up in trans-border collaboration.
Claro. Sí. Ahora, yo nunca he pensado que la comedia es el lado superficial de la vida. Yo creo que es el lado más esencial de la vida. Yo creo que hay que ser muy arrogante para tomar en serio la vida.
tijdens praat verwarring was het eerst. Mannen worden chickies en chickies die zijn niet meer beheerst. Waar gaat het er naartoe? Waar gaat het er naartoe?
Yes, thank you for that round of applause because they really deserve it, and we're honored to be able to introduce them to you. So one of the other new additions we added to the award this year is that we want to give certificates to all the nominees and finalists, and we have 8 of them who are here with us this year, and we're going to ask them to come up on stage and ask you to hold your applause till the end, and it's particularly significant, ladies, if you want to come up and join us on the stage. When we are living in the world that we're living in, one of our nominees, who was supposed to be here performing in Brooklyn, was denied a work visa. She's Jesus Rodriguez, for the first time ever. They weren't being paid; they were just coming to perform, and they were not allowed to come. We fear it's going to get worse. So the need to make these connections and to stay open to the world is more important than ever. And so we will.
So this is Abir Ali from Egypt. Now, please hold to the end. Sarah Berger from England, Brigitte Helbling from Switzerland, Carmina Narro. Yes. It's getting... So, Brigitte Helbling from Switzerland, Carmina Narro from Mexico, Marwa Radwan Mohammed from Egypt, Ilire Vinca from Kosovo, and two of the finalists are here, namely Lina Attel from Jordan and Michaela Dragan from Romania. And now, and next up is the Philip Lem duo, with Philip Lem and Arturo de Loreto.
And now I'd like to welcome to the stage the Honorable Dolf Hodgwoning. I don't know if I said that right. I keep trying. He's the Consul General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands Consulate in New York.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful to be here. Wonderful to see all the nominees. Wonderful to see the trailers of their productions. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, all previous speakers, Kelly, Lynn, Lisa, Melody, and of course, Catherine. As representative of the Netherlands, I was asked by Catherine and Melody to shed some light on the Dutchness of Adelheid Roosen, or better, the Dutch context of her work. Well, the easy part would be calling her progressive, avant-garde, an expert in small-scale productions in which professional actors engage with audience members or even the entire neighborhood. I understand that even this afternoon you succeeded in getting people out in the street, even in New York where everybody's so busy, and it worked, you know, you got them in. And of course these productions, despite low budget, have a lot of impact. Productions in the public space instead of in an elitist theater resonating with our society. Is this work typically Dutch? Obviously. But there might be more. There might be more. Now, I have seen Adelheid working across the universe, from Damascus to Amsterdam, to Mexico, to New York. Still, it's not easy to figure out her Dutchness because of that. For one thing, Adelheid's most beautiful characterization of herself is that she is a pilgrim, which makes that you cannot confine her to the space between the Dutch borders. However, at the same time, a lot of Adelheid's being Dutch is concealed exactly in being a pilgrim. Because a pilgrim is constantly on the move, looking for something, spending a great deal of time in the public space. So, shouldn't we trace back the Dutch roots of Adelheid and her body of work precisely to her pilgrim existence? If we look back into our history of a seafaring nation, you recognize us a bit as pilgrims, for centuries exploring distant shores, setting foot on unknown soils. We learned to live in foreign countries with people different from ourselves. We submerged in those cultures and brought pieces from those far shores back home. Living in a foreign country is like looking into the mirror and seeing how different you are. But at the same time, all these encounters with strangers make you discover how similar you are in their humanity. The other is you. And what's more, the pilgrim mindset, mingling with the unknown and daring to cross the border, has brought us tolerance and diversity. Hence, looking at New Amsterdam, we arrived as sailors in 1609. We established a colony, a community full of diversity, religious tolerance and entrepreneurship, and gave New York its DNA by not excluding anyone considered different. Now, there were always threats to tolerance and humanity. Enslaved individuals were brought to these shores, and likewise, there are threats of tolerance nowadays. Adelheid's mission to integrate, to connect, and to become the other is indeed very Dutch. She provides a relevant and unique type of theater that leads by example. An example of enormous importance in our country, because disintegration and exclusivity is everywhere around the corner. Thank you so much, League of Professional Theatre Women, for recognizing Adelheid with the Gilder Coigney International Award. And the chairs, Melody and Catherine, thank you for your effortless enthusiasm and dedication. Thank you so much.
Please welcome Linda Chapman. Linda is the Associate Artistic Director of New York Theatre Workshop, and she nominated Adelheid this time. Greetings, all of you, to the League sisters, to colleagues, to friends, to our international visitors. It's just such a treat, such a pleasure to be here. I have to remember for just a minute the one whom we honor with this international award, Martha Coigney. Now, Martha. Martha entreated me to become a member of the League based on my enthusiasm for meeting theater artists from other cultures and particularly admiring the work of women theater makers. So thank you, Martha. We'll never forget your example of keeping your door open and a welcoming chair waiting for your guests and a good conversation. So let's just keep her in our hearts, please. And for the third time, I want to honor our co-chairs, because without their inspired work, this would not have happened. A lot of people made it possible, but they really did it. They were cajoling. They were. So thank you. Thank you. I met Adelheid in Amsterdam in 2008 as a guest of the then great and now sadly defunct Netherlands Theatre Institute. The meeting was part of one of the final exchanges between the Institute and New York Theatre Workshop, where I have been for many years. And it was organized by one of our League affiliates, our international affiliates, Anja Krenz. So you never know when you're going to meet somebody, how that's going to influence your life, and I think that's one of the treasures of both the League and the International Committee. You don't know how these relationships are going to unfold, and I think we have to take an example from Adelheid and keep ourselves open for these delightful surprises. It did not escape me also when I visited. Now this was a few years ago, but I think Adelheid was probably the only woman director I met on that particular trip. There must be more women directors in the Netherlands now, as we know, but still, I think we're all fighting for this parity all over the world. Although I was only able to see a fragment of Adelheid's work on video at that time, it was the centerpiece of her theater trilogy about Muslim immigrants, her monumental Veiled Monologues. I was struck at the time by the fearless quality and the depth of her engagement with the Muslim immigrant women's community in Amsterdam. At that time, I'd never seen anything like it, never experienced anything like it. You're a real pioneer, I think, in this work. Her body of work has grown exponentially since that time, as she not only navigates diverse communities to bring work to non-traditional theater audiences, but also brings those communities to the traditional theater spaces in order to break down the cultural and class barriers. Adelheid's work exposes what's not commonly seen or discussed, what's foreign, that which is taboo or intensely private, and reveals it all in the public domain, where shame and embarrassment dissipates
And with that dissipation, empathy becomes possible. Adelheid is daring. She told Katrine that for one of her first works, she traveled to 5 different African countries with one camera person to meet people, and especially the women, and learn how they organize their lives, how they cope under often trying circumstances. This could be taken as a metaphor for all of her work. She travels into unknown regions, whether they're local or international, with an open mind and heart to bring that experience back in the form of film, live performance, creating dialogue and lasting relationships that exceed and reach way beyond a typical theater performance. With her adoption method, Adelheid introduces herself to immigrant communities, knocks on doors, and instigates members of her acting company to live with strangers for 2 weeks at a time, to deepen their connection with the other, and to learn and teach each other's stories. Her urban safari projects have grown out of these encounters, really incredibly inspiring. We got a little taste of that this afternoon in a workshop, and I think we all need to find a way to bring Adelheid back to make a piece with us. She's gone into the National Theater of the Netherlands, for instance, with people who never go to the theater. 100 of them marched into a conventional performance of Danton's Death, take possession of the stage for her piece, The Crossing. Isn't the National Theater a public space? Of course. Well, it's natural. And they end up, you had them all, they were naked by the end of the performance and stayed in the theater overnight. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, your turn is coming, each and every one of you. We were really fortunate in this past week. She's literally directed an estranged mother and daughter from Amsterdam's Turkish community to open up in astonishing ways about the radical differences in their beliefs about life, faith, and love in No Longer Without You. And we were fortunate to see this in the Crossing the Line Festival last week. I think Crossing the Line could be the byline for Adelheid's autobiography, because I think that's a principle from very, very early, as we learned today. There is not a line she doesn't want to cross. Since no subject is taboo, her autobiography is subject to her creation as well. The film Ma'am is a project very close to her heart, extremely personal, a unique creative artistic tribute from Adelheid to her mother, suffering from Alzheimer's disease. So Adelheid always meets her audiences, her actors, her community as an equal, and I don't know how we can take enough from her in this area. Activist communities across our republic are finding ways to support each other's causes for public betterment, resisting tyranny, speaking out for human rights, a clean environment, and reaching beyond our discrete disciplines and identity groups to grasp for the means to sustain human life on this earth. Living in the divided nation we are in 2017, we may look to Adelheid to teach us how to breach the tribal divides between our people and those people, and remind us that we are all humans who suffer and celebrate with the same living spirit. I am thrilled that she is a recipient of this year's Gilder Coigney International Theater Award, and welcome Adelheid Roosen to the United States theater community and to the League of Professional Theater Women. Thank you.
No, that's animal.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Linda. And next up is Annemarie Hagenaars, a Dutch performer living and working in New York City. She will read an excerpt from Veiled Monologues by Adelheid Roosen. And we apologize profusely that we managed, and it's probably my fault, for misspelling Annemarie's last name. The double A's belong to the other side of her long name.
This is a piece from the Veiled Monologues, written and directed by Adelheid Roosen. She especially wrote these monologues for 4 actresses with a Muslim background who were raised in the Netherlands. Mijn schaamte, mijn Arabisch pension. My shame, my Arabian guest house. When this Iraqi woman was confronted with the question, has your sex life been in any way frustrated by Islamic religion? It made her burst out laughing. And when she was asked if she was ever picked up, she laughed even louder. I am not picked up. I do the picking. Her story is called My Shame, My Arabian Guest House. My father spoke in parables, in riddles. He asked us children questions like, waarom is een meisje rank? What makes a girl slim? Ons land heet. Our country hot. Waarom is een jongen glad? What makes a boy smooth? Het land kaal. Our country bare. Waarom nestel jij in een bloemenbed? What makes you nest in a flower bed? Is de traan zout van smaak? A tear tastes salty. Rilt een schaap als zij geschoren wordt? A sheep shudder when it is sheared. En houdt een hand van zand? What makes a hand love sand? Every time my father spoke, we would stand there listening, our eyes wide open. My mother would giggle, and we would have that one day to find the answer. At night, after dinner, we would chatter and rattle away to our dad. He smiled and never answered. I was raised on erotically tinged questions, and I have lived the answers to the fullest. Every precious thing that I've learned in my life, I owe to my shame. That's what I call my vagina. That's what all the women at home call her. Ik heb de hele Koran gedaan. I've learned the Quran. Ik heb de hele Koran gehad. Dan de Koran. Ik heb alle Arabische letters leren schrijven. Learned to write all the Arabic characters. Ik heb niks onthouden. Forgotten everything. I did my lessons diligently because I wanted to play outside and stayed outside. I wanted to find the answers to the questions. I was 5. I am now 58. My shame was the flowered the Arabian way, was married, got divorced. My shame was fucked the Pakistani way, the Turkish, Western, Jewish, and Italian way. My shame made a lot of money. Turkish delight was eaten from her, brandy was poured over her, and subsequently drunk from her. My shame has been loved by men and women. Coke has been snorted from her lips, and she has been rubbed with it. My shame has been around, has never left me, and knows the art of saying no. My shame knows no guilt. My shame has the shameless character of my father, to the great annoyance of my mother. My father remarried a 17-year-old. My mother beat the living daylights out of him. My shame has strapped on dildos and has satisfied gay men because I thought they were entitled to it. My shame has deflowered very young boys. Virginal clumsiness arouses her, growing dexterity makes her come. My shame grew up in an Arabian guest house in a white neighborhood. Finally, she got herself a man who got her pregnant, and she gave birth to a son. But even now, I know for sure that my shame wants to grow old in the company of women, young women. She will not allow the men to appropriate all the young women. Ook ik zal maagde vrouwen openbreken. I too will open up many a virgin. En ze koesteren tussen mijn moederdijen. And will cherish them between my motherly thighs.
And without further ado, the reason that we're all here tonight, we are delighted to present the 2017 LPTW Gilder Coigney International Theater Award to Adelheid Roosen. We showed it to her this afternoon, but we wouldn't let her have it till now.
Oh, yes, I have to speech now. Oh, I didn't know. Of course, okay.
Is the microphone where you want it?
Yes. Yeah, I go there. You mean there? Yeah, you mean not here? Yeah, there. Yeah, I do. I go there. Whoa. Speech. Welcome again. Feel at home, and I hope your chair feels like a bird's nest. First of all, I want to thank the League of Professional Theatre Women and all oh man, how shall I call you? You were all so gentle. I'm talking about the nominees. You were all so passionate. You were like you made a dance with me. I thank you for that. Yeah. And of course, Katrine and Melody for the 50th time. But we cannot thank you enough for your ongoing hard work, for your lovely guidance. You guide me for months, and your hardcore esprit. You have esprit. Yeah, really, month after month. Two beauties. And Linda Chapman, I want to thank you for your grace. You have grace, and thank you for nominating me. And of course, the two most radiant ones, Rosamund Gilder and Marta Coigney, for endowing this prize. I also like to welcome Dolf Hogewoning, the Consul General of the Netherlands in New York, and I truly appreciate your kind and insightful words. You left a bit out our colonizing part. To be truly honest, yeah, but I do understand in your position. But I have a different position. So. And thanks, Vera Kuipers from the Dutch consulate in charge of the performing arts for your dedication. And Frank, of course, for this solid stage. And then, yeah, I have only words, no words. I have only my heart, because I have to thank my beloved friends in New York. I start with you, Gideon, because you're the first. So Gideon Lester, my heart. Tom Sellar, my heart. Melanie Josephs, my heart. Susan Feldman, my heart. And Annemart Hoogwoning, my heart. You always give me a bird's nest to feel at home. I once stumbled on the operating instructions for an electric juicer. Yeah, it was really too much. I was in the rehearsal space at night, as I still needed a crucial scene for the piece of theater we were making, a piece called Kneel on Your Best Leg. The play was going to be about what is courage?
And how do you name the absence of it? In other words, what is so frightening about acting in accordance with your own mind? Why the hesitation to speak about this openly, to ask over a drink? When did you lack courage this week? And how come? And who did you let down as a consequence? Why not have a talk about that? Why is pointing out that the emperor is not wearing any clothes so complicated? The scene that I was supposed to be writing in preparation for the next day was meant to grapple with these issues: a clash in an old friendship, a betrayal. It was to be a crucial scene. The idea was to rant and rave, preferable armed. But it became instead a scene for me, the dagger aimed at myself, because I had found the operation instructions for the electric juicer. I was drifting that night, threading around the rehearsal space, starting tidying up, because tidying clears the mind, and I stumbled on the electric juicer box. I don't know why I even unfolded the instructions. It wasn't beautiful or attractive. The action was mindless. But it inspired that startling shift in me. And I read, point 1, before inserting the plug into the socket, ensure that the mains voltage is the same as the voltage indicated on the other side of the engine block. This to prevent explosion. Point 2, the plug may not come into contact with water. Point 3, hold the spring that holds the electric juicer's handle upright, otherwise the spring won't have any tension and the handle won't function. Point 4, the rotary element may only be turned clockwise. Point 5, if the red light at the bottom left-hand side of the handle comes on, pull the plug out of the socket immediately to prevent a short circuit, etc., etc., etc. So detailed, so exact, so comprehensive, such a crappy scrap of paper, but when unfolded, containing a square meter of information how to work an electric juicer. And then something in me snapped. Why aren't there operating instructions for people? Why aren't we taught them at school? Why does no one teach me how to relate to myself? How to operate? How to name all this? Am I the engine block? Or am I the current running through it? And who can teach me whether my current connects to another? Thus, how to approach another person? Why does no one teach me about anything of the temperament of that? And whether can I influence that or not? Or I hear people say, or is it my character? Are we born with guilty character parts? Why isn't there a generous vocabulary for the persons who forms the exception, described in beauty? And how do I reach out to the other if I haven't learned what listening is? If I have no instructions? So I thought, what is it exactly? Listening. What is it? Listening. Is listening waiting for what I expect to hear? Is listening waiting to hear what I've never heard before? Is listening the piecing together of what I selected to hear? And when do I do my thinking justice with my thinking? And where are the instructions for that? Or, how I was taught, am I supposed to continuously identify with myself? Am I a circle after all, a closed circuit, a route that always brings me back to me? And how do I do the opposite? How do I give myself easily? And how furious am I? I also realized that with the 10 square feet electric juicer paper explanation in 16 languages in front of me, furiously impatient, jealous of the apparatus for having such a sophisticated description. It's the same with the next magnificent version of the iPhone. Truly beautiful. Yeah, we need it. The instructions are so clear that you know in no time which button and functions to use. You can even speak of a craving within us to learn us how to use it, whilst I never see anyone staring at a group of people waiting for the subway with that same craving. Then you think, wow, oh, who are you? Oh, wow, how do you work? Oh, do you have an embrace button? Can I push it? Oh, how do you fit together? I never saw it. I never see that look. My fury is the amazing evolution of the iPhone and our desire to interpret the latest instructions. But we are just as helpless as ever at interpreting each other. That night in the rehearsing space, I wrote an instruction manual about how to operate me. For you, no attack, no indignation, no more self-righteous rage. And suddenly I understood the title that I had chosen for the piece. I knelt on my best leg for you. And my first point for my operating manual was, if there are others, I'm the other too. I wrote down my voltage, how much current my plug box can take, when you can bring me in contact with water, because you can. Where you can see whether my temperature has shot up, so you know you are still safe, and that I'm not someone who rotates clockwise, but have a natural tendency to go the other way. And when my right light is on, pull the plug to prevent me from exploding in your face. Your call, Katrine and Melody. The Gilder Coigney International Theatre Award caused that similar shift. A prize honors and confuses because it always challenges. I have already learned so much in the run-up to this prize, I could cry. Because you, a person, me in this case, I want to be able to carry a prize. It deserves to be carried in all that it means. And I reread your honoring words and those of Linda Chapman, who caused the echo. And for that, deep thanks. And yes, fearlessly, tirelessly, consistently building is what I do. Be the change you want to see in the world. Build that change. And when I open my eyes every morning, I see the unparalleled beauty of this world, hidden as a talent in all things. Wanting to kiss awake, wanting to flirt with, wanting to capture the talent of human being in each of us is what drives my art. But then, the twist. But what do I destroy in action as I go? How consistent am I in that? How consistent in my impatience, my irritation, my anger born out of my impatience? And how humane is it? How does my work process unfold as I realize my vision? How do I treat the world in action? Is the art not to perfect the making of the art as art? And I don't mean is art democratic, because it's not. But how do I create a work process which expresses exactly what the finished work shows? In brief, Adelheid, how price-worthy are you? I discovered that my work vocabulary was peppered with terms like hunting, staying in line, leading the troops, an army of love, but still an army, and a military schedule is at the basis of my production urban safari. Military schedule, I love that term. Was I interrogating my team like soldiers? And so, from the day that you called me last spring up until this moment, the prize has unfurled itself as a quest. This journey itself has become your gift to me. It reminded me of something someone in prison once said to me, a young Kurdish migrant who I interviewed for a piece I was writing about honor killings, which he had executed on his sister. I have to make new eyes, he said. I have to make new looking. And he cried the rest of the day. Too late. But yes, every day we have to make new eyes. We have to make every day new looking, new operating instructions for not being too late. And thank each other over and over again for the glorious but still dangerous moment that our eyes meet, or when they meet other eyes in a subway station. To do a dangerous thing with style, as Bukowski said, to do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Thank you very much for this honor.
We're not quite finished, ladies and gentlemen. We just have a few more. You just want to enjoy the music, and we're not done yet.
Thank you, Philip Lemduo. Another cultural Dutch contribution. So before we close, there are many people and organizations that have contributed time, talent, and resources to bring us to this moment. But we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge a few of them who made our jobs easier. And first and foremost, Rebecca Sheehan, who's the producer for our day at the Siegel Center. She has been an invaluable partner in this process and rarely, willingly, takes any credit for all the work that she does. Our awards staff that helped to plan, produce, and promote all of the events for the week. Our volunteers for today, thank you, thank you. And it does indeed take a village to sustain an endeavor such as the GC Award, especially since we do not have big grants or large corporate sponsorships. Although, if you have some to offer, please, please, we'd be delighted. So, and every event this week associated with the award has been free and open to the public. And since there's therefore no built-in income stream, please consider making a donation as you leave. There are envelopes on the table and a really pretty donation gift bag there too. And finally, please welcome our co-chair of the International Committee, Peggy Chain.
Ladies and gentlemen, honorable representatives from the consulates in New York, cultural institutions, league members, and friends. I am Peggy Chain, co-chair of the International Committee, along with the indefatigable Italian, Laura Caparati, the Gilder Coigney International Theater Award originated in 2011 from the International Committee of the League. As our name suggests, we have an active contingent of affiliate professional members overseas. We check in with them when we travel, and when they come to New York, we host them, get the word out about their performances, and assist with connections they might need, and vice versa. Many wonderful personal and creative connections have been forged this way. This commitment to maintain and to strengthen our connection to the international theater world is now even more important, since our government has turned inward, combined with an increased disenfranchisement of the arts in the U.S. We live in difficult times, and as U.S. theater women, we are compelled to reach out and tap into a reality that our politics are co-creating. The newest International Committee program is WOWR, Writings of Women Refugees. We are contacting women refugees in the U.S. and around the world and encouraging them to write about their experiences as refugees. We are doing the collecting now. We will then make a presentation piece to perform in the United States and send back to the refugees themselves so they can perform it in camps or wherever they might be. Please take a flyer on the way out and join our WOWR program if you know of any refugees. The submissions for the 2020 award will open in 2019. We hope that all of you think of an amazing theater woman in your country and encourage her to make a submission. Melody Brooks and Katrine Hilby, the co-chairs of the Gilder Coigney Award, are the powers behind orchestrating this fabulous week of events. So for the 5th time, we will thank them. Now, Adelheid, the New York taxi drivers, and the entire league, thank you for being a great broad and an ingenious director. Now, Rebecca Sheehan, are you? Where are you?
There she is.
Here she is.
Adelheid, we want to give you one more round of applause and a little something else. If you want to stand up.
Now, please join us all for more revelry at Punto Space, 325 West 38th Street, between 8th and 9th Avenue, where you will enjoy Yono Pernomo's delicacies as well as libations. So, see you all there.